Let's explore the fascinating science behind burning fat and losing weight with back-of-envelope calculations. Fat loss is all about energy balance and metabolism. Your body is constantly burning fuel, and understanding this process is key to effective weight management. Everything about weight loss comes down to one fundamental principle: energy balance. The basic equation is simple. Energy in minus energy out equals weight change. This is thermodynamics at work in your body. Food energy enters your body, and your metabolism processes it. The energy that isn't used gets stored as fat. Let's start with a key question. How much energy is actually stored in 1 pound of body fat? 1 pound of fat equals 454 grams. Each gram of pure fat contains 9 calories of energy. So you might think 1 pound equals 4,086 calories. But here's the catch. Body fat tissue is only about 87% actual fat. The rest is water, proteins, and other tissue. When we account for this, we get approximately 3,500 calories per pound of body fat. This is the famous number you've probably heard. Now let's calculate how much energy your body actually burns each day. Your total daily energy expenditure, or TDEE, has 3 main components we need to understand. Your basal metabolic rate accounts for 60 to 75%, physical activity uses 15 to 30%, and digesting food burns about 10%. Let's calculate the basal metabolic rate for a typical person using a back-of-envelope method. Consider a person who weighs 70 kilograms, is 170 centimeters tall, and 30 years old. A quick approximation. Your weight in kilograms times 24 gives roughly 1,680 calories per day for basic functions. This energy covers essential functions: breathing, heartbeat, cell repair, and keeping your brain running. For a more precise calculation, we use the Mifflin-St Jeor equation, which accounts for height, weight, age, and sex. For men, it's 10 times weight in kilograms, plus 6.25 times height in centimeters, minus 5 times age, plus 5. Plugging in our numbers, 700 plus 1,062.5 minus 150 plus 5 equals 1,618 calories. To get total daily expenditure, we multiply by an activity factor. For sedentary lifestyle, multiply by 1.2 to get 1,942 calories. For moderate activity, multiply by 1.55 to get 2,508 calories per day. Now let's figure out how to create an effective calorie deficit for fat loss. Here's a practical question. How much of a daily calorie deficit do you need to lose 1 pound per week? Since 1 pound of fat equals 3,500 calories, divide by 7 days to get 500 calories per day deficit. This creates a steady, sustainable weight loss of about 1 pound per week, which appears as a declining trend on a graph. So if your daily expenditure is 2,508 calories, eating 2,000 calories creates that 500 calorie deficit. Generally, a safe deficit is 15 to 25% below your total daily energy expenditure. Going too low can slow metabolism. Let's calculate how different exercises contribute to calorie burning. Walking burns approximately 100 calories per mile for an average person. At a typical walking speed of 3 miles per hour, that's 20 minutes per mile. A 30-minute walk covers 1.5 miles and burns about 150 calories. Different intensities burn different amounts. Walking burns the least, while sprinting can burn several times more per minute. Interestingly, running burns about 100 calories per mile too, regardless of your speed. You just cover the distance faster. Here's an eye-opening question. How much exercise would it take to burn off a full pound of fat? Dividing 3,500 calories by 100 calories per mile gives 35 miles of walking or running. This is why diet is often more important than exercise for fat loss. It's much easier to not eat 500 calories than to burn them off. Now let's discuss what happens to your metabolism when you lose weight. When you reduce calories, your body doesn't just passively lose weight. It adapts to conserve energy. As you diet over time, your metabolic rate gradually decreases. This is called metabolic adaptation or adaptive thermogenesis. Your metabolism can drop 10 to 15% beyond what's expected from just losing weight. This happens because your body tries to defend its weight set point, making continued fat loss harder. Let's calculate how much protein you need to preserve muscle while losing fat. Adequate protein intake is absolutely crucial during weight loss to preserve lean muscle mass. Target 0.8 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, or roughly 1.8 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. For our 70 kilogram or 154 pound person, that's 123 to 154 grams of protein daily. Low protein intake during dieting leads to significant muscle loss along with fat loss, which we want to avoid. Muscle tissue burns about 6 calories per pound per day at rest, contributing to your basal metabolic rate. Losing 10 pounds of muscle means burning 60 fewer calories per day, or 22,000 calories per year. That's over 6 pounds of potential fat gain. Let's create realistic timelines for different weight loss goals. Suppose your goal is to lose 20 pounds of body fat. Let's calculate how long this should realistically take. 20 pounds times 3,500 calories per pound equals 70,000 total calories of deficit needed. At 500 calories per day deficit, divide 70,000 by 500 to get 140 days, or about 20 weeks. With a more aggressive 750 calorie daily deficit, that's 93 days, or about 13 weeks. Weight loss isn't perfectly linear. You'll see fluctuations due to water retention, but the overall trend should be downward over months. Expect daily fluctuations of 2 to 5 pounds from water retention and food volume in your digestive system. Don't let this discourage you. Let's examine how different popular diets work from a mathematical perspective. Despite their differences, all effective diets create calorie deficits. They just use different strategies to achieve this. Low carb, low fat, intermittent fasting, and high protein diets all work by making it easier to maintain a calorie deficit. Low carb diets cause rapid initial weight loss, but 5 to 10 pounds of that is water weight from depleted glycogen stores. Each gram of stored glycogen holds 3 to 4 grams of water, so depleting glycogen releases several pounds of water. Intermittent fasting simply reduces your eating window, making it harder to consume excess calories. A 16-8 fasting protocol gives you an 8-hour eating window, naturally reducing total calorie intake for most people. Let's examine common mathematical mistakes people make when trying to lose weight. The biggest mistake is overestimating how many calories exercise burns. Treadmills and other machines often overestimate by 25 to 50%. That 600-calorie display might really be 400 calories. Another huge mistake is not tracking liquid calories from drinks, smoothies, and coffee additives. A typical Starbucks latte has 250 calories, equivalent to walking 2.5 miles to burn off. Compare water at 0 calories to juice at 150 and soda at 200 calories per serving. These add up fast. A single, uncontrolled cheat day can completely wipe out your entire weekly calorie deficit. You create a 3,000 calorie deficit over 6 days at 500 calories per day. But one 4,000 calorie cheat day leaves you with only a 1,000 calorie weekly deficit, slowing your progress by 2/3. Let's summarize with practical, mathematically sound action steps. First, calculate your total daily energy expenditure accurately using the formulas we discussed. Create a moderate deficit of 300 to 500 calories per day for sustainable fat loss. Track everything you eat and drink for at least 2 weeks to understand your actual intake. Hit your protein target of 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight daily. Weigh yourself daily, but compare weekly averages to account for natural fluctuations. Your progress should show a steady downward trend in weekly average weight over time. Adjust your calorie intake every 2 to 4 weeks based on your actual results, not the calculator predictions. Remember, sustainable fat loss takes time. Losing 1 to 2 pounds per week is excellent progress. Let's review the key mathematical principles of fat loss. 3,500 calories equals 1 pound of body fat. A 500-calorie daily deficit produces 1 pound of fat loss per week. Total daily energy expenditure equals basal metabolic rate times your activity factor. Fat loss becomes predictable and achievable when you understand and apply these mathematical principles. Success in fat loss comes from combining consistency, accurate tracking, patience, adequate protein, a moderate deficit, and regular exercise. Use these back-of-envelope calculations to take control of your health and achieve your fat loss goals scientifically and sustainably.